Today we have tea tree, T-E-A, tea tree, or coast tea tree. This grows in the San Francisco Bay Area. I don't know if it grows anywhere else. Tuffy Marginez sent this to me. I've turned a piece of it before, I don't know, a year or two ago, I guess. Looked very much like this one, except a little smaller. This one's bigger than that. I'll link to that one right up here in your upper right hand corner and down in the description if you want to look at that video. It's intimidating, it's a challenge, but I'm up for it today and I'm looking forward to it, kinda. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as we like to say here at Shady Acres Wood Shop. Howdy, let's take a closer look at it. The piece is about 11 inches in diameter, about 5 inches tall. That'll be the bottom. Now I did trim off the bottom, and I did that so that this piece right here would serve as part of the foot, part of the bottom for it to set on, because it was all screw wacky, and now it's not. So it'll be setting on this main portion right here, won't set on that. This main portion, and then this. I thought about turning it this way, and that would probably look pretty dang good. But then I thought this way would look even better. It's awkward to hold. It's not heavy. It's not particularly hard wood, as I recall, but I can't remember. It was a while ago. Like I say, it's intimidating because it's, first of all, how am I going to find center up here? I can't remember how I did it before, and I didn't show that. I didn't show how I found it. I just watched part of the video just to see how I determined that, and I didn't show it, and I still don't know. When you're turning something like this, you can't just go by the top. You can't just find the middle of this and say, oh, there it is. You have to look what's going to happen down here when you make a hole up there. So we have this large indentation here, and unless we want to come through the side of the bowl and have this all open, which we don't, then you can't just find center up here on the top. So the center is going to be over here further away from that large indentation. The rest of it is pretty solid. There is that. So it's probably going to be a smallish bowl or a shallow bowl. The whole piece to me just looks like a sculpture the way it is. So of course I'm not going to be doing any turning on the outside. I might trim up these little twigs here a little bit. I don't love them the way they are. I'll just trim them up a little closer probably. So I am going to take this over here to the workbench and try and find a center that'll work. Like I say, it'll be off center of the whole thing. It'll be back this way because that's where the main body is. So I'll do that. I'll get it mounted up and we'll take a look at it over here on the lathe. I've mounted a faceplate ring on here. This has a dovetail on the inside of it to match the dovetail on the outside of these jaws. So you just put that over the chuck jaws and expand into that. And then you've got a good metal to metal fit. I was gonna just use a woodworm screw, but I think this will be a good idea. Judging by what I see on the bottom here, I'm not gonna like this. So now it looks like it's gonna be pretty close right here. I don't know what I'm gonna do on that one. I used a recess, believe it or not. I used my larger chuck jaws and made a huge recess in there. Obviously I can't do that. And of course this point is gonna find right in the middle of that joint of these two branches. So I'm just about going to have to make a tenon, and I'm just about going to have to make it a small tenon rather than a large tenon. And it's kind of a big piece for that. I know I could glue a block of wood on the bottom here and do a tenon that way. And I might. I'm going to have to think about this a little bit. I'll be right back. Now I've done this. I guess we'll call it a glue block. This can fit in the chuck. So I'm going to take this and glue it on here. That's double face tape on there. Apply a little pressure, make sure it's flat. It is. I also sanded the bottom of this so that it would stick good. I just laid it on my belt sander. So I'm going to use that double face tape, but I'm also I have to go in the house and get my glue gun. I'm going to put a bead of glue, hot glue, around here to help hold it. I'll do that in a few minutes, and then I'm just going to let it set all night because I have to go to a birthday party. You're going to see me tomorrow. Because I'm not doing any turning out here, I guess we're going to start with sanding. So I'll sand all of this, get a finish on it. That'll probably take all day tomorrow. We'll turn it around and use this in my chuck to hold it while we turn the inside. That's what I'm going to do. I'll go get my glue gun right now and put glue around there. There you go. See you tomorrow. Well, there it is, and I'm not real happy with it. I should have made a new one that would take my larger jaws, that would cover more area, and it maybe isn't quite so thick, because all this does is move it all away from the chuck, and that puts it out here where it's vulnerable to shaking and whatnot. But it's on there now. I'm going to use it. If it doesn't work out, I'll do something else. I spent the last quite a little while with a screwdriver digging out rocks and loose bark and whatnot, and trimming up all these little pieces that are here and there and everywhere. I think all my sanding is going to be with my Sandoflex. And we haven't talked about a Sandoflex in a while. I know we've got some new viewers. I don't sell these. I don't get anything if you buy one. This is just my experience. I've been using a company called Super Grit for quite some time. If you go to their website, supergrit.com, you can get the Shady Acres kit. Just because it has my name doesn't mean I get anything. I do not. I thought maybe it would be a good idea if I put together a kit of what I use for my viewers. So you would get a Sandoflex. They all come with 80 grit. That's standard. They come with 80 grit. Can't do anything about it. They're not going to take it out of there. It comes with it. When you buy the kit, you'll also get 120 grit and 180 grit, which is what I use almost exclusively on bark and on pieces like this. This is 180 grit, and that's all I'm going to use on here. But I've often said I wouldn't turn the kinds of wood that I turn if I didn't have one of these. Supergrit.com, if you want to get a good deal, you'll get the Sandoflex 120 grit, 180 grit, and a bunch of free accessories that they're including for a lower price than if you bought it all separately. So just tell them you want the Shady Acres kit if that's what you want. If you want something else, get something else. If you don't want one, don't buy one. You buy it, you don't buy it, I get the same. Okay, so anyway, if you've never seen one of these, you're about to see it in use. My regular viewers have seen me use it many, many times. But anyway, I think that's the only thing I'm going to use to sand. Then we'll put some sanding sealer on here, I think. So let me get my mask on, and I'll show you what that looks like. So that's what it looks like, and it's going to take me quite a little while to get this all done. And again, if you're new here, I know this just looks screw wacky to you. What's he going to make out of this? What does he mean he's not going to turn anything on the outside? You just wait. You just wait. When this is all smoothed up and has a finish on it, and you see these lighter colors next to the darker colors, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be just gorgeous. It's just a strange wood, but it's going to look so nice with a finish on it. You'll see. So I'll be at this for a couple hours probably, and I'll come back and we'll put some sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. Well, that took a while, and this is going to take a while as well. This is shellac-based sanding sealer I'm applying. It's called Zinsser Seal Coat. Comes in a can, ready to use, and I don't do anything to it. I don't change any of that. And I'm kind of expecting this to not work, so I'm not going to put any finish on the bottom. I'll do that when it's all done, just in case I have to glue something else on there. This is going to be pretty. Well, pretty in a rustic sort of way, I guess. Now I can put some on here because that doesn't touch, that won't touch the tabletop or whatever it's on. And I'll probably put on 2 coats of this and then 2 coats of shellac before we turn it around and start working on the inside. This is a real soft spot right here. It just soaks it right up. If I was turning it, I would say it was punky. Well, this is probably getting kind of boring. I'll be doing this for quite a little while, into tomorrow, I suppose. So I'll bring you back then and we'll turn it around and start working on the inside. See you tomorrow. Well, I've got the finish on and it looks pretty cool, but I wanted to show you what I did with my glued on tenon. I cut it down. It's about 1/3 of what it was, or maybe even 1/4 of what it was. It was sticking way out here. So I cut it down so I'll have better support. It would have been sticking out there about 2 inches further than it is now. And that makes me uncomfortable. especially with such an irregular piece. You know, it's going to be hitting here, it's going to be hitting there, it's not going to be a nice smooth cut. So this should relieve some of the jarring. Okay, I like to use tailstock support, but when I bring my tailstock up, you can see it's not going to hit much. It's going to hit this little tiny part right here, which doesn't have much support around it. So I'm going to take this little piece and put it on here like this. That'll give me some more area for pressure. Of course, it'll have to be removed once we get to the center of the bowl. Now, center of the bowl, that's a problem, isn't it? Because I have all these voids that go, you know, way back in there. Like this is almost straight up and down. It actually goes in that way. So if I come out here with too big of a bowl, we're going to have a big old hole. So it's going to be a pretty small bowl. Either that or it's going to be really shallow. I don't mind shallow. You know, this is an art piece. This isn't, it's not meant to put your salad in or anything like that. It's just to look at the nature in the piece. That's all it's really made for. And speaking of nature, look at that. My gosh. It's just gorgeous. I'm gonna probably come just about here with my bowl. We'll see. Sometimes I can enlarge it as we go down. I just don't want a big hole in the side of my bowl. I guess I could. Half the time I don't know what I'm doing anyway. Just do it until it's time to stop, I guess. So I'm gonna try my gouge. That's the handle hitting the tailstock. I'm almost positively gonna have to go to carbide, I guess, so I can go straight in. So we're gonna be turning at 650 RPM, maybe a bowl gouge, maybe carbide, mask and face shield on. Well, I just stand here looking at this before I get started. I might just do a little tiny bit of turning. My thought was maybe I can find a crystal dish or something to put in here. If I do come way out here into this big gap, it still would be usable for something like a candy dish or something. Anyway, I went in the house and looked. My wife had all sorts of crystal stuff, but you think I can find it? Not a chance. I might just do a little bit to see what I can get out of it. So not very deep, maybe. It depends, you know, it depends on the dish I might find, and I don't know what I'm going to find. So I'd like to find it first, but that doesn't seem likely. Well, unless I go shopping right now instead of turning. I'm anxious to get going on this. So I'm going to do a little bit of turning anyway, see what happens. I just want to see where that got me here. Very thin right here, right where it's going to drop off. How big is that? About 4 inches, I guess. I don't know. About the 4.5 inches. I don't know what you think of that. You know, like I said, it's all about the piece. It's the wood. Look at this. How are you going to find anything like that? And it's just an art piece. So if it's just mostly wood and doesn't serve any purpose, but maybe I can put a dish in here, then maybe that's all it needs. I guess I'll go shopping. My gosh. On a Saturday. It's a Saturday. Everybody in the world's shopping. What's the point in being retired if you go shopping on a Saturday? But I guess that's what I'll do. But at least now I have an idea of what I can get. So like 4 inches, and if I got something 5 inches, it would still sit down in here. It just would show on the outside right here. And that's okay. But I'm going shopping. See you later. Well, it took a while. I had some luck finding something to put in here. I went to 2 stores that I thought might have what I needed, and they didn't at all. So then I went to the dollar store, and I found this plain glass bowl with a lid, but that's not what I wanted at all. But, you know, for $1.25, I got it, but it's just the wrong thing. So then I remembered Goodwill. So I went to Goodwill in their housewares department, glassware, and son of a gun, I found some stuff. Now what we have right here is about a 4-inch opening so far. This is about 5 1/4 inches across. I got this at Goodwill. Nothing too special about it. I guess it's cool that it has a lid and you could put something in there. So I could do that, and that's about 5 1/4 inches. So I've got to come out here a ways. This one's about 6 1/4 inches in diameter, and it's crystal, and it's nice, but it's not very deep. But I could fit that in there. Probably just about as deep as I need to be for that right now. And then I found this one, and I love this one. It's nice and heavy, it's crystal, it's pretty, and it's 6 3/4. So I gotta really come out here. And it's a lot deeper. I didn't measure how deep it is. Looks like about 4 inches. No, about 3.5 inches deep. So I can go a lot deeper in here, but I have to take away so much. So I guess what I'll do, I guess I'll aim for this one first and set it in there and see what it looks like. And if I need to go bigger, I'll make it this size. So I'm just going to continue turning, and I pretty much have to stick with the carbide because I have to have tailstock support. At least I feel like I have to. Yeah, another 1/8 or 3/16. Yeah, that fits now. Well, this isn't doing much hammering, so I'm going to get rid of my tailstock. I think my tenon can handle it. So I'm going to remove the center now so that I can get to the right depth. Which, what did I say? Well, it's about just barely over 2 inches. It's got a pretty wide flat bottom. Well, everything looks okay to me so far as the outside profile. Well, maybe now's the time to decide. Oh, you see I'm clear through down here now and starting to be over here as well, although I think that's okay. Maybe it's time to decide if this is what we want, this particular bowl, or do I want to shoot for this great big one? I got to take a lot away for that. So come out here 3/4 inch, and what would that do? I don't want to cut that off. You know, if I come out here 3/4 inch, I'm probably going to cut right through this, and this will go away. That'll stay, maybe. Yeah, that might be pushing my luck. I think I'm just not quite flat enough on the bottom yet. Wasn't paying enough attention. This is not my thing. I just like making a hole until it looks good and then it's done. But trying to fit something in there, that's a whole different ball game. A little bit deeper. Well, I'm done turning. I put you there so that you can maybe better see what I'm looking at. Here's the bowl. My goal was to get it even with the top, so maybe you can see a little tiny bit sticking out there. Not much, probably a 1/16 of an inch or less. I'm thinking it'll, once I sand it, it's going to, of course, remove wood, and this will probably set down flush. I hope it doesn't go below flush. And you see how it shows through that slot there. That's okay, that's fine. That's why I got a bowl in the first place. And then if I was to go with that much larger one, I'd have to come out here 3/4 of an inch, and then I would end up cutting this away, and maybe you can see how it's all integral to this, and it would just look bad, I think, if it ended here. So that's why I don't want to put the big one in there. I probably could put the big one in there. I guess it's just a matter of personal preference. I love this area here, don't you? That's just gorgeous to me. Look at that. It looks like waves in the wood. Water waves in the wood. Anyway, so I'm pretty happy with what I have here. It's not a perfect fit, but it's dang close. It's certainly close enough. You wouldn't want to press it in there or anything. So I'm good. So I'm going to start sanding. I don't know if it's the carbide or the soft wood, but for me, carbide always just kind of tears up the wood. Maybe I only use it on softwood, I don't know. So I'm going to do some spot sanding like this. Just hold it in place, sand a little bit inside there. Then once I get out any torn grain or tool marks or bad wood, oh boy, and I'm afraid to remove too much of that bad wood because then our fit's going to get really lousy. But anyway, I'll do that. Then I'll spin it up forward and reverse at about 400 RPM, starting with 80 grit, working up through 400. And I'll show you what that looks like as soon as I get my mask on. That's forward, this is reverse. It takes a real light touch so that I don't get caught in this gap here and over here. It's going to take me some time, but I'll get it done. And I'll bring you back and we'll put some sanding sealer on there. See you in a bit. Well, I'm real anxious to read your comments on this piece. Do you think I should have used a glass insert at all? Crystal or whatever it is I'm using. Do you think I should have just hollowed it out like a regular bowl? Do you think I should have made it larger for that larger dish I showed you? Do you just hate the dang thing altogether? That's okay. That's all okay. It's all okay. I cannot make everyone happy, and I don't expect to make everyone happy on every piece I turn. I'm going to have to use a brush, of course, but we can get started with a rag. Now all these light colored spots that you see in there, those are all kind of punky wood, kind of soft. I'm not expecting the most gorgeous finish job I've ever done on this one, but I'll do my best, get as much out of it as I can. I'm kind of pressed for time. This is Monday already. I've had a lot to do around the property here, getting ready for winter weather, that sort of thing. So I haven't had the time to put into anything except that. And this is Monday, and this is for Thursday. This is Thursday's video I'm working on here. I'm not done, and I still have to edit it, of course. So I'm getting a little bit nervous. I really hope you like it, but be honest with me. It won't hurt my feelings at all. I honestly do not expect everyone to like everything I do. And sometimes people will comment like that. Sorry, Phil, I just don't like that one. There's nothing to be sorry about. You don't have to be sorry. If we all liked exactly the same thing, boy, that would be a boring world, huh? Alright. Well, that's the first of 2 coats of sanding sealer and then 2 coats of shellac, and I'll bring you back and we'll take my glued on tenon off. See you in a bit. I've got the inside all done and polished up as good as I can get it. The wood was a little further gone than I thought it might be. Pretty soft, pretty punky in a lot of areas, so I didn't get the best finish I've ever had before, but it's acceptable. What you're looking at now is the piece spinning slowly, 81 RPM apparently, and my heater pointed at it. And the object there is to soften that hot glue and the tape that's holding this onto the tenon in the chuck. I'll keep checking it. I'll stop it turning. I'll pull on it and press here and there and try and get it to come loose. And when I'm near that, I'll bring you back. This has always worked pretty well for me in the past, so I decided why not try it again. See you in a bit. Voila! Got most of it off. Now I'll just take some acetone, dissolve it and wipe it up, and then sand it a little bit and get some finish on there. Get it signed somewhere, I don't know where, and I'll bring you back. Be sure you stick around at the end of the video so you can see the before and after shots of this piece. If you'd share the video, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, here it is. One tea tree bowl in the books. I didn't do much turning on this. I did a whole lot of work, just not a lot of turning. What do you think? That part's pretty cool looking. I do see something in here. Let's see if you see it. It's right there, I think. It's awkward to try and hang on to it. There's so many places that it's not there. There's the bottom. I signed it right here. Right along there. Tea tree, or coast tea tree. I'm really interested to know what you think of it. Oh, and what do I see? Well, where'd he go? Oh, it's over here. See, I'm sorry, but things die. It's a dead moose. Here's his nose hanging out here, his antlers. See the dead moose? I'm not sure why he's dead. He just looks dead to me. But there's possibilities of seeing all sorts of things in here. But that was all I saw. I'm just overwhelmed by the nature. And you can see here maybe how important it was to me to not go any larger. I would have ended up cutting this off, which is a part of this whole thing here. And that just would have been gone if I would have tried to put that larger dish in here. So here's the dish. I don't know if that's a good addition to it or not. It makes it usable. Little candy dish or something. I actually like that quite a bit, and I'm glad it's there because of the big opening. What I don't particularly care for is the lid. I don't think I like that. Wherever this ends up, I'll include the lid, but it probably isn't going anywhere but my house. Just looks better without it. So let me know what you think. I'm real interested. Thank you, Tuffy Marginez, for sending this along for all to enjoy. If you like this video, thumbs up please. I'd sure appreciate it. If you're a subscriber, thank you very kindly. I truly appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, you might consider becoming one. I put out regular videos about one a week, and I'd like to keep in touch. I so much appreciate that you chose to spend some of your time with me today. It means a lot to me. Thank you very kindly. So for now, this is Phil, Shady Acres Woodshop, signing off.